Okay, a quick bathroom update. So the floor is now fully down and all okay. And so then what I've been doing is I've been making this like cupboard that fits into where the chimney breast was, which was always the plan. So down the bottom, this is open, and that will have that'll have the radiator in it. Then this is the cupboard itself. This is shelves, and there'll be doors obviously on them, and then that'll be plasterboard up there. So already it's amazing, just a bit of plasterboard and that, and suddenly beginning to look a bit like that horrible hole. That horrible hole that was the chimney breast is now kind of gone. And then this will be boxed in here. The wall will like be extended with plasterboard up to the wood, so all the pipes will be hidden there. So that'll all be a wall which will then be tiled, and the shower will go there. So pretty pleased with that. Just knocked up mainly the shelves themselves, just made with some bits of extra floorboard I've got. I'm quite chuffed actually, because I've got one floorboard left, so I've got just about the right number. It's always difficult to know exactly how many to get. The floor's all good and down. I think I made a slight mistake with the floor. I used 50mm nails. I should have used 60mm nails because they're quite wide and thick boards, and the floor was creaking quite a bit, which is a sign that it's not been really solidly nailed down. I decided to nail it down rather than screw it down because I didn't want the floor full of screw holes, and I decided not to blind nail it. Now what that means is you can put the nails in blind through the edge, you know, the tongue. You can nail it through the tongue, and so you'd only nail one end of the board, just one side of the board. But these are quite wide boards, and I was worried that only being nailed at one side might not be enough, and I think I was right. So the nails are visible, but I think that's okay for this particular floor. I will sand it all down, and I will put some filler in some of the bigger holes because it's going to be painted. That's why I'm not bothered about it getting a bit dirty at the moment. So I managed to, I used a punch and just finished off getting the nails down, and that stopped all the creaking, and the floor's now nice and solid. So that's good. All the plumbing is in underneath the floor to some extent. Now where I need to get to it, then it's screwed down. So you might be able to see that here we are, these two boards here, they're screwed down, and I've cut the tongues off so that when you unscrew these boards, they'll just lift out. They're not tongue, they don't tongue into the boards next to them. And that's so I can get to the waste pipe for the shower. Then there are two small boards just there, and there's another one there. These two small boards will come out so that I can make the connections for the towel rail. Then you can't see it, but all the way along the back, the board nearest to the wall, that's all screwed down. So that's going to come out so I can connect the sink and the bath and so on through there. And also this small board here at the back, this final board, that's screwed down, but obviously I'll be taking that up to make the connections for the radiator. The pipes themselves are all obviously in place. It's just they're just blocked off all under the floor. They've just got stop caps on, waiting for the actual plumbing to go in. Anyway, my next job before I do any of that is I've now prepped the ceiling, and at last I've got some plasterboard here, and I'm now going to cut them to shape and nail the plasterboard up on the ceiling. Do the ceiling first, and then I'll put some plasterboard there to make like a little wall, as it were, and finally plasterboard here to finish off that wall. And when I've done that, then I can finish off the plumbing, the shower being a major problem, but I'll come on to that later on. Okay, so yeah, I've put insulation, stuffed it all full of insulation. These are absolutely rock solid now, totally, completely really solid. So because the cupboard doors are going to be pretty heavy, and I want obviously the whole thing totally solid. It's secure at the top, it's screwed all the way in, the way down, and so on, and obviously at the bottom. So very pleased with that. Oh, it's quite a solid shelf. I put a deliberately thick solid shelf at the bottom, contrasting with the shelves higher up, because obviously there's the heat from the radiator, which you don't want going in. Well, you do this, ironically, you want some heat in there because it's going to have towels and that in there. It's like an airing cupboard. But of course the bottom shelf will be for all your toiletries and that, which is where you don't want it hot. So I've deliberately made that thick to stop too much heat going in, and I might put some insulated like sticky under the shelf again to reflect the heat down. Right, anyway, I'm going to start cutting out. This horrible job was just trimming off all these things. It's amazing how much dust came down just trimming them, but never mind. Done now. I've trimmed off the edges of the laths so that I can now screw the plasterboard to the joists. And so it's all ready, and I've put all insulation up there. All the plumbing's done and everything up there, so that's all good. So I'll get on with that now. Anyway, there we have, yeah, very pleased. I can't really get far enough back to show you that, but very pleased with that. I think it'll look good when it's done. It's all going to be painted, obviously, and plastered. There'll be skirting boards around the bottom there, but and obviously the radiator in there. I think it'll look really good. Yeah, pleased.